G'day everybody, it's finally here! Banjo Recompiled is available now, which is a Banjo Kazooie PC port using recompiled software. What this means is you can now play Banjo Kazooie on your PC, free today. To do this, you're going to go to the description of Banjo Recompiled, the release trailer, Banjo Kazooie PC port. You'll see a GitHub link here, and the GitHub link here. They both lead to the same place, which is this link right here. This is our main GitHub link for Banjo Recomp. When we scroll down, we can see a releases page here where we go check out latest release, which will give us a page like this. And we can scroll down here and we see the download file right here. We just click on the one that's appropriate for our OS. We have Windows, Mac OS, Linux, and the Flatpak for Linux, which makes it a little bit easier to install for Linux users. Now you're going to need a specific ROM for this Banjo Kazooie game. We're going to use the Banjo Kazooie USA ROM with no revisions. What you also notice in this release section is downloads for some mods for Banjo Kazooie, two of which are full new games of Banjo Kazooie using modifications, Jiggies in Time, and Nostalgia 64, both by Kirko Mods, who has done plenty of great Banjo Kazooie mods for the N64 version of Banjo Kazooie. Now it's playable on the recompiled version. There is also a reloaded texture pack by Ghostly Dark, which can be downloaded here as well. Now these are subject to change because a website that is usually used for mods for recompiled called Thunderstore has not been set up for these mods. I'm sure I'll be there soon, and this is very much subject to change. But for how it is now, we just have these releases on Git of Jiggies in Time Recomp and Nostalgia 64 Recomp. We're going to want to download the NRM files to download these mods. For the Banjo Kazooie Reloaded texture pack, we're going to go to this website here. We're going to download directly from this website, downloading the .rtz file right here. We're then going to move all of these files into our new Banjo Kazooie Recompile folder. We're going to extract out the recompile right here. Once that's extracted, we can launch it up. It will then ask for us to load and source our ROM. So you're going to have that ROM prepared earlier. We're going to use the Banjo Kazooie USA ROM with no revisions. Once you have selected and load that ROM, you'll have the Start Game button. Now before we go into that, we're going to have a look at our settings. We have joystick dead zone note saving, which is a cheat exclusive to this recompile right now, which means that when we exit a level, the notes that we've collected in that level save, so we don't have to recollect them all over again. We also have the analog camera, which allows us to adjust and move the camera with our right thumbstick. We then can adjust the sensitivity and inversion, all that. Over on the graphics, we can then adjust what sort of resolution we want, if we want the original resolution with downsampling, or if we want various other resolutions such as auto, which will then just set directly to what your monitor is displaying at. Again, with frame rate, we have the original frame rate, which is the frame rate of the Nintendo 64 game. We then have display frame rate, which adjusts the frame rate directly to our display's frame rate, or manual frame rate, which we can then manually adjust to whatever frame rate we want, from 20 all the way up to 240. I believe if you select display frame rate, you may be able to get FPS above, but I'm not entirely sure. As you can see over here on the right, it says display detected for refresh rate 165 Hertz. So it automatically finds out what your display is. We then have MS anti-aliasing, which is for adjusting those jaggies you would see. We can also see cutscene aspect ratio and HUD placement depending on what sort of monitor we have out there, with 21:9, 16:9, and 4:3 being the expected resolutions. Over here in the control section, we can adjust what controls we want to be what, whether it be up, down, left, right, A, B, Z, L, R, C up, C down, and all the rest, D-pads, so on and so forth. You may need to adjust these, or if you are using the right analog stick. Then finally over here we have sound, which we can adjust for background music, and main volume, which will be the volume of the characters in the game, picking up jiggies and all that stuff, and background music being, of course, the music in the background. Lastly, we come to our mods folder. Here we can install mods, which we can do by either pressing the install mods button and then selecting the mod individually, or alternatively, we can then just drag our mod directly into the recompiled window, like so, and it will automatically download the mod. We can then do the same for the reloaded UI, and we can enable and disable them as choiced here. you can have both Banjo Kazooie Jiggies in Time and Banjo Kazooie Nostalgia 64 enabled at the same time, because when we go to start the game, it will then give us a select game mode, which we can select either Banjo Kazooie Jiggies in Time, Banjo Kazooie Nostalgia 64, and hopefully a whole bunch of other ROM hacks. Now each of these ROM hacks have their own save file, which means you do not have to worry about your save file being corrupted from one project to the other. They are both full modifications of the Banjo Kazooie base game. Now lastly, before we do launch this fully, there's another thing that we can do, which is instead of using Banjo Kazooie Recompile directly from the Git website, we can then launch the Nintendo 64 Recompiled Launcher, which is a separate launcher for all of our recompiled launchers to be in one place. You may not be able to see it on launch if you have downloaded this previously. There is a new version available, which you can then automatically download and apply the installation. Once that is applied, you can see various other recompiles if they have had adjustments to them, such as my Star Fox 64 is out of date, so I can update that right there. And I can also download Banjo Kazooie directly from this launcher. We can then launch directly from this launcher, and the process is the exact same from here. Now you may want to delete your save file or delete your ROM file for whatever reason. You can find these in app data local, and then it should just be Banjo Recompiled. In here we have our mods folder where we can see where our mods are, or deleting them if we need to make more space or whatever reason. We can find our US 1.0 Z64 Nintendo 64 ROM, and there'll be also another folder right here for saves if we had a save file. And that's it. You can now play Banjo Recompiled to your dreams with various updates, plus 2 new full Banjo Kazooie mod conversions. Hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, give it a like, give it a subscribe over on the YouTube. All these things help the channel grow and grow and grow. And when the channel grows, the content gets better. Hope you guys have enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one. Bye bye.